Hello everyone, it's me again. I say that because I literally just turned the camera off, but we are filming part 2 of my monthly reset going into March. So I'm super excited about this. I have just been really enjoying this reset and honestly am feeling great. So in the last video, which I will have linked down below just in case you missed it, we were doing like a self reset and kind of the more fun things. But don't worry, we will be doing fun things in this video as well because my life is all about enjoyment now, not putting pressure on myself. It is just enjoying the journey to becoming my best self. So for that first video, basically we did like I washed my hair and everything. I did a whole self-care bath, like everything shower sort of thing. And I also was reflecting back on February in terms of what I did, like the memories that I have, looking back on photos, all of that stuff, just kind of the feel good things. So now today we are going to be focusing on the goals side of things. So we have a hefty to-do list. Let's actually jump straight into Notion because I have my whole monthly reset like planner there and it's just going to be easier. So we're picking up right where we left off. I am still on the page that I left off on, which was my March goals template, but I don't want to be here quite yet. We will get to this, but I want to be in my March reflection page. So I gave a walkthrough of this page in that last video because this is where we were spending most of our time other than in the February reflection page. But right here we have my reset. So if you wanted to see anything on this page, that is all in the last video, but we are going to take a look at the other things that we need to do. So as you can see, we got all my Notion set up and everything. I'm doing pretty well with things, so that is awesome. But there definitely are some other things that I need to do. This kind of planning section is where we are going to be largely focused today. And I also am going to eventually go through here, these extras, and see, because some of them I am not going to end up doing just because like I want to do a massive spring clean. So I know that cleaning my space and the digital declutter, it's way more than I can do in the next couple of days. So that is not going to be the vibe that we have right now. We will be doing the planning as well as the reflection because I need to look back on my goals and everything. Actually, I was going to check that off, but because I still need to look back on my goals for the last month, so can't do that quite yet. I also actually have to finish this. So let's hop over to the goals page. So I haven't really touched this one, but I have it all set up. I like to set the theme of all of these pages to like whatever's happening that month. So we have Easter at the end of the month, so it's a little like cute Easter theme. I love the pastel vibes of Easter. I just think it's so cute. But here I actually need to change this because that is my main focus for the month. I will fill in all of my goals at this top portion right here. Actually, I have the February one open, so I will show you that. So yeah, you can see here, I filled out all my goals and everything. This is kind of a sample of what the page will look like. I am going to be going through these a little bit later because that's kind of the start of my reflection. And as you saw in the beginning, I did start my journal entry reflecting on my February goals. But that's what the top of the March page is going to look like. And these, it's still, I haven't done the filters yet actually because I just needed the spacing. So I do have some things in here already. And then I will be like going through those and changing that. But I also have my wish list over here. So I mentioned this at the end of that last video, but this is essentially the difference between like wish list items and goals are the fact that wish list items, like it's okay. It's not really something that I'm working toward. It's just like, oh, that would be kind of nice to do, if that makes sense. So I did have it as a database before, but I wanted to try this out where I'm just going to drag them to like whatever applies to where it's at, if it's like to start, in progress, or complete. But I might kind of tweak that around. We shall see. I still need to kind of fill out my wish list items, which is one of the fun things that we're going to do. Then here I'm going to be filling out the daily / ongoing goal tasks. And what that essentially is for each of these goals that I'll have up here, I'll have like, what am I doing consistently to reach that goal? What are the habits that I'm doing? Once again, this is something that over here, you can see I filled it out as like a database again. So I might do this again because I like the view of it, but I have all my to-dos and the ways that I plan on actually like implementing these things. So that worked last month. I think I just duplicated this maybe. Oh no, I guess it is connected. Okay, yeah. So I'll do a view of this on this page for March. Then over here, my goals, to-dos, and general to-dos. This is different than the wish list because it's more like if there's something that I have to do, but it's not necessarily connected to a goal. Like it's not something that I'm wishing for, it's something that I actually have to complete, but it's not connected to one of my larger goals or intentions for the year. Then my new or focus habits is any obviously new habits that I'm trying to implement, and then focus habits are the ones that I maybe am not doing so well with, and I would really like to focus on accomplishing those and making sure that I'm adding them to my routine. Now coming down here, we have the tasks. For each of my monthly goals, I will have tasks associated with them. Not necessarily all of them, but a lot of times they have tasks. So this is kind of where I break it down from being this overarching thing for the month. It then goes into a smaller thing where it's a task. And once I actually have some filled out here, we will have the no week column will be at the very front, and then I'll just drag it to whatever week I'm going to do it. And then over here, I have the breakdown of the dates for each of the weeks. And that's just really helpful when I'm going to actually do my weekly planning because I can see what tasks I have planned for what week. And finally, at the bottom, I just have a link to that reflection page. And then this is also where I'm going to do at the end of the month, my reflection for all of my goals and everything. So yeah, that is what's going on. That is my goals page. We did spend quite a lot of time in Notion for the last video, and we're going to be doing that again because I just have all of this in Notion. So to start off, I want to look back on February. So I will go back to that monthly reflection that I had. This is a template that I have set up, and it's just like on my 2024 page, which we will get to this later, but I did talk about this in another video. I'll have it linked down below, but at the beginning of the year, I showed you guys this, but I have a little journal at the bottom here, and this is where I have that database and like the template for each month. So to give you guys an idea, this is what it looks like when it's blank. Now I have already started to fill this out, but here I have all of my overarching goals that I have for the year. These are more like intentions and bigger things that I am working toward. So I don't expect that they're going to be things that I'm going to be able to check off at the end of the year and say, great, I did that. It's more so the things that I'm working toward throughout the year, if that makes sense. They're just such large things that they're things I want to constantly be making sure I'm contributing to and like implementing into my daily routine. So this answers the first question that I have for this little journal entry, which is what did I do to accomplish my yearly goals this month? Then coming down, I have, is there something I can do better next month? This is kind of inviting me to like look at where I was kind of failing. Was I not really doing something well? So I will talk about that there. Then do I honestly feel like I did my best to work toward these goals? That's kind of just being honest with myself and being like, with the tools that I had, with the space that I was I doing my best? Was I constantly working toward them? And it's kind of just like a simple yes or no, but I can also expand upon it. And then are my goals and I still in alignment? So are there any goals that I feel like I don't really want to be working toward anymore? And then what goals did I struggle with? Because I feel like there are always ones in particular that I will excel with and ones that I might not do as well. So I might actually add in here, what goals did I excel with? Because that's always, you know, you want to be positive too. Did I excel at? Okay. And then how did I do for my monthly goals? So here I will have a filter for whatever the month is, and then I will see like what those goals were, because I'll take those overarching intentions and then I put them into quarterly goal and then into a monthly goal. And if you guys want a specific like how I've been doing this goal setting video, I can definitely do that, because I don't want this video to be super long, because I already know both of these are going to be really long, so I'm going to try and be concise. But if you want like a whole kind of overview of exactly like everything that I'm doing to set goals for the year and then like break them down further, then I can definitely do that. But this is just kind of a space where I can look at those goals and see how I did on a monthly basis. And then I also have added down here, what goals did I drop and why? So certain goals I decided not to do anymore, and some of them there will be a good reason, others it's not so good a reason. So I would like to acknowledge that. But yeah, I have already started this. So let's go through this really quickly. I don't really want to read this out because that seems so boring. I guess if you guys want me to, because I will probably do these resets, maybe not this intensive, but I will do these reset videos monthly if you guys are interested in them. But I have all of these goals here and you can see that I have everything that I did to accomplish them. So this is just a really good way to be like, okay, I did actually like do a ton of stuff this past month. I know that I am constantly working toward these goals rather than having them just in my head and then I forget about them. I am actually working toward them. So kind of refresh your memory. In no particular order, my goals for this year or intentions are speak French more frequently. I can't even read English apparently. Establish healthy eating habits and heal disordered eating. Gain control over my finances. Keep the house tidy and uncluttered. Be more responsible and on top of my workflow. Create content regularly. Keep on top of habits and organization. Try new hobbies and learning something new regularly. Grow as a graphic designer. Feel healthy and happy in my body. Read 125 books. Read 25 self-help books. Continue my spiritual journey and limit time using social media or time wasters. As you can see, I did actually do a lot to work toward my goals this past month, which is awesome because honestly, this past month was not the best. I have mentioned it 6 million times by now, but we were trying to figure out my ADHD medication and I was on too high of a dosage and it just was not agreeing with me. It made it really hard to do anything. So there was kind of a time period where I just kind of stopped doing anything and was just having a really difficult time. So I feel really good about the fact that I still was able to do so much and I just feel very like fulfilled in that. Now I will fill out these prompts later, but I wanted to show you guys my goals that I had for February and go through these. So I have already, I will check in twice a week on all of my goals and see where I'm at with them. So I have already taken a look at this and some of them I have already updated the status. So get ahead on videos. I kind of did this, but this was thrown off the wagon by the fact that I wasn't feeling great. So there was a week where I just didn't film and that definitely threw me off. So I'm going to say, how many videos do I have filmed right now that I have to edit? I have this one. And then I need to, I guess, better define what get ahead on videos means to me. I'm going to go over to my content planner though and see what I have filmed. Well, that one I have now filmed. I have another one filmed though, and it's not there. I don't know why it's not there. Okay, well, apparently I haven't been updating this as much as I thought. What else? Because I filmed this one. Oh, that's why, because it's in the process of editing. Okay, so I have one filmed. I'm ahead on one. I don't think that's enough. I feel like I would like to be a week ahead. So I don't think that's enough to mark it off as complete. Where are we? Here we go. Nope, that's not where. Here we go. So I'm gonna say that this one was dropped. Because dropped is different, right? I don't know. I'm just gonna say it's dropped. I don't wanna say failed, but let's actually, okay, I will add a category because that's going to bug me because it's not the same thing. I'm gonna add incomplete. So get ahead on videos is incomplete. Read 2 self-help books is also incomplete. For some reason this past month, I literally just started and didn't finish a bunch of self-help books. I don't know why. It was really strange, but it was definitely a different sort of reading month. I did read 5 books, however, my next goal. I ended up reading 6, so that's good because I was not reading a lot. Finishing a craft, I did finish one of my crafts. I did originally, I think I had this as finishing my embroidery, but I did not actually end up finishing my embroidery. Instead, I made a little amigurumi and I love him so freaking much. So that is definitely a done. Then keep daily to-do list to 15 to 20 items. I have this marked as done, but to be honest, in the past week, I kind of have thrown that out the window, but I was making an effort to keep it to 15 to 20 items. So I will still mark it off as done because this past week has just been so busy that it's been impossible. And I feel like I did make a good effort. Meal prep each week. The past 2 weeks, I have not really meal prepped. I was doing super well with that, but the past couple of weeks, it just hasn't been happening. So I'm going to put this one as incomplete as well. complete budget Notion budget page. Why can't I read? This one I did not finish, so I'm gonna put this one as dropped because it was kind of an intentional decision to focus on that in March instead. I made efforts toward it, I was getting there, but I just didn't completely finish it. Post 10 videos, I did do that. I posted 11 actually, so overachiever. Finished the deep clean of the house. This was also one that I dropped because it was an intentional decision. Workout 3 times weekly, I dropped that. It's just, I've been struggling with that so much. And completing my graphic design Skillshare course, I ended up dropping because I realized how big the course was, so it didn't really make sense. Posting 3 shorts weekly, dropped that one as well. I don't know, I can't figure out that schedule. Starting my winter declutter, I did start it actually, so I will mark that off as complete. I started decluttering the basement, which was a really big task. And reach inbox 0, I actually did pretty early in February, so that one is complete. So I feel like I did pretty well. Like, all things considered, I have to remember the headspace that I was in this past month and give myself grace and kindness. Like, as much as there are a couple incompletes, there's a lot of things that I finished, and that is like nothing to feel bad about. It's just compared to January. Let's take a look at January, because in January I finished like all of my goals. I was feeling so freaking good about it. I just felt great. Yeah, I didn't have as many though. Okay, looking back at this, I didn't have as many goals, so it was a little bit more reasonable. That makes me feel better. But honestly, like, I shouldn't feel bad because I did do so many things. I don't know. Anyways, I am going to finish up with this little reflection on my goals and everything for February, and then we will dive further into the planning and goals for March. I'm excited. I love setting new goals. I think it is so fun. Reflection, and I feel really good about February and how it went. Now, just before I get into my March goal planning, I am going to do some breakdowns of my larger goals. As you know, I have my macro goals, and then I further break those down into micro goals. And micro goals are essentially my quarterly goals. So I've already taken a look at the macro goals while doing that journal entry and have seen where I'm kind of at with those. So now I'm going to look at my micro goals, because we are entering the last month of the first quarter of the year, and I would like to see if I still am wanting to accomplish those goals, if there's any that I want to move over, and then I'm going to, of course, have to break those down into monthly goals. So that's what I'm going to sit here and do for the next little bit.
There is a life I lead in this city, hurrying to cut my teeth. I can take what I need to get by, it doesn't make it easy. The other piece of my heart moves slow, somewhere in the great unknown. When I return from the afterglow, will you carry me like I am whole again? Wait, hold on, put me together, take me back where I belong. I want it all, I had a feeling, but the feeling is all gone. Wait, hold on, put me together, take me back where I belong. I want it all, I had a feeling, but the feeling is all gone.
It's much later, but I am feeling so good about my goals and everything. I have them all planned out, and I'm just really excited about it. So next step is to finish filling out my calendar. I started doing this yesterday and in the last video, and I just put like all the events and everything, but now I'm going to be filling out these little side bits. So it's one of my favorite things about this calendar is the fact that it has all of these, but we have the to-do list, which will be my kind of like wish list sort of things and the goals to do's as well. We have my top 3 goals, which I have divided into the top 3 things on the wheel of life that I am focusing on this year. So I have finance, health, and career. And then within there, I will put the goals that I'm going to be working toward for each of those this month. Then we have healthy habits, which is where I'm going to fill in the habits that I'm focusing on or any new ones. And then acts of kindness, I use this as acts of kindness that I want to do for myself. And then here I'm going to write down the main one of these 3 things that I'm going to focus on. I feel like I should tell you about my goals for the month. Here we are. Okay, so we have all of my goals here. I feel really good about this. How many do I even have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Honestly, it seems like a lot, but 1, I have ADHD. I can't just focus on one thing at a time. That's just not how I operate. And 2, some of them are harder than others. So it's really kind of varying, but I am feeling super, super good about this. So to give you an idea of how I planned these goals, I'm just going to do this super quickly because I will talk about it further in that like goal planning video if you guys would like to see it. Essentially, I just planned from my macro goals page. So when I click into these, I scroll down the page and I have my like next steps section. So this is where I have the micro goals, which are my quarterly goals that I'm working toward, and then my monthly goals. So I could see the micro goals right there, so I knew kind of what I wanted to work toward, and I then have like relations set up for all of these. But yeah, I just went through and decided a goal for each of them. But some of them I didn't do a goal for because I kind of wanted to focus elsewhere. But let's go back to March. So here are my goals. We have reading 2 self-help books, which I failed at this month, so I would really like to get to that. I would like to read 7 books. I have read 5, like my goal was 5 for the past couple of months, and then this past month I read 6, so let's try for 7 because I'd really like to get my reading up again. By the way, the layout of this might look funny, and it's just because I'm on like my big computer, so it looks different than my laptop, but I kind of optimize it for my laptop because that is where I am most likely to use it. Next we have start my digital declutter, which is so overdue, but getting it started would be absolutely amazing. And I also would like to make sure that I'm making 30 minutes, which isn't that long, for creativity or hobby every day to make sure that I'm taking time for myself. I mentioned that I wanted to get more into short form content, and I've kind of been experimenting with that. So I think that setting a day for it and trying to stick to that will be really helpful. So I have film short form content on Wednesdays. And by the way, you can see below here I have the how. That's just a property that I have on there that it just basically obviously says how I plan on attacking these goals. Next, vlogging once weekly, which I feel like I should be able to do easily. I've been loving vlogging, so I definitely would like to keep up with it. I would like to finish my declutter of the house. I don't know if I'll actually end up finishing this one, so to be honest, if I don't end up finishing it, I will change it to continue the declutter of the house because I like, as long as I work toward it, then that's totally fine. But I definitely would like to finish my deep clean of the house. The declutter is probably going to take a lot longer, but the deep clean, I feel like I can accomplish that one. I also would like to follow a new weekly food routine, which you might be like, what? But basically how I have a weekly routine set up, I want to kind of like try doing that with my meals as well, and specifically dinners. So what I mean by that is that every Monday I'll have like a slow cooker meal. Every Tuesday I'll make sure it's something extra healthy. Every Wednesday I'll just do whatever. Every Thursday I'll have leftovers, like something like that is essentially what I mean. It's just kind of an experiment that I want to do. I also want to do a, sorry, the screensaver went on. I also want to do a no buy month this month. I have been really cutting down on my spending because it was definitely a problem. So I would like to do a no buy month in March. And in addition to that, as far as finances go, I would like to complete my Notion budget page. I had this as a goal for February and didn't end up finishing it, but there were just so many other things that were going on and happening in February. But I know because my focus for this coming month is money and finances, I should be able to really accomplish this. And just like a little one is completing my March Duolingo challenge. They have like quest. I think it's a quest is what it's called, but they have one monthly, and I've done the January and the February, so I was like, I should try this year to accomplish all of them and get like all of the badges for every single month. So I'm going to try and do that. I also would like to clear my work to-do list by 5:30 p.m. So I mentioned this in my reflection video, but I'll show you really quick on today. I added a little daily schedule to my daily layout, and you can see it right here. So we have morning, workday, or evening. And essentially what I'm saying is I want to have this list completely cleared by 5:30. Whatever that might look like if it's reassigning things or I finish things, I would like to have that completely cleared off so then my evenings can actually be time for myself and it's not just I'm working all evening. A lot of that is going to mean like filming during lunch breaks and filming in the morning and stuff, but yeah, it's just, that is what I would like to do. I think that would be really nice. So that is that. And then I would like to pay off my remaining credit cards. Essentially, I have 3 right now. One is US, so I'd like to keep that one. But I only ever wanted to have one Canadian one, but I was trying to switch over my account and it was a very daunting task, so I didn't end up switching over the account and I ended up with 2 credit cards. And I don't want that. So I'd like to get the one paid off, and then my next step is actually going to be figuring out like what payments are on it so then I can move it to the new one and then completely get rid of the other one. But I do need to pay them off, but I'm really close. Like I should be able to do that, which is very exciting. Like I said, finances, big issue for me, but we're working on it. And finally, I gave this one an actual like tangible sort of thing, but I would like to get 1 week ahead on content. I feel like that should be doable. And what I mean by that isn't like I have to follow that schedule. If I vlog something and I want to like slot it in a little bit earlier, that's awesome. I can definitely do that, but I want to at least have enough content batched where if I'm not feeling like filming, I'm not feeling great, whatever, then I'm fine. I'm not like stressed out and going to be just falling behind constantly and feeling like I have to constantly catch up. So those are my goals. Then we come down to my wish list. These are just the things that I would like to do. So we have learning drawing on Procreate. I would really like to learn like the kawaii. I don't know if it's kawaii or kawaii. I say kawaii, I'm very sorry, but the kind of like simplistic little drawings, I really want to do that. And I think it would be so much fun. So I kind of started looking at some courses, and yeah, I'm really excited about that. So that is definitely something that I am super interested in right now. I also have continuing my watercolor painting course and just painting in general, to be honest. I've just been really into creativity and arts lately and just like rediscovering my love of that. I also had started reading Deep Money by Chloe Elise, so I'd like to finish that, as well as I started rereading Atomic Habits and The Mountain Is You, so I would like to finish my reread of both of those. I want to look into selling my Notion templates because I just have been loving, like I love making these, I love doing them, so I would, and I know like quite a few of you who've asked me about them, so I'd like to look into what that might look like, just because it does take a lot of time, so I feel like it is something like I would like to be compensated for, to not say in a weird way, I don't know. Then I would like to make a spring bucket list because the past couple of seasons I've made my bucket list so late into the season but that I don't really get to do all that many things on it, so getting to the spring one would be awesome. And I also need to fix my books organization, and I don't mean like physically, I mean on Notion. I haven't been like keeping up to date with it, as well as in Goodreads, to be honest. I really need to get to updating that. And finally, I would like to make my flamingo amigurumi because I'm taking the amigurumi course on Skillshare, and I think you'll have seen that in another video by now. I honestly am not entirely sure, but if you haven't, I made my little lion. We love him, but I would like to make the next one, which is a flamingo. I also actually got some chenille yarn to try and make him in chenille. I know that's a bit harder, but I would like to try that eventually. So now coming down here, I realized that I had my daily and ongoing goal tasks set up completely incorrectly, because what it is I just have like my actual overarching goals for the year, not for that month. And I just have like the habits and stuff that I'm doing. So some of these are repeats from what I'm always doing, but other ones are just what I'm going to try different this month. And then over here, I have my goals to do's, which are essentially all of the tasks that I need to do, like the main tasks that I need to do. I just liked having a little list here, even though it is kind of repetitive for what I will show you in a moment, but whatever. And finally, underneath, I have my new and focus habits. So the way that I came up with these habits was I actually went to my habit tracker and looked at what I wasn't really keeping up with very often and what I was constantly checking off. And then that's how I decided, okay, these are the habits that I need to focus on. And it also is kind of like an opportunity for me to like look at what's not working, what I might need to change, and all of that. But I know this past month I wasn't the best at keeping up with my routine, so it does kind of make sense that there are some habits that I really struggled with. But that's that list. And then coming down, I have all the tasks. So this was in like this no week column, which was it was right at the front. So then I just dragged them. So like, for example, this one, if it had no week and then I drag it to week 1. So then it just makes it easier for planning things. But as you can see, I already have them divided into week 1, 2, 3, and 4. And honestly, it always ends up like this whenever I'm planning things. Even when I'm planning the week, Monday and Tuesday always end up having so much. And then the rest of the week is a little bit lighter, but I never really accomplish all the things that I had wanted to do on Monday and Tuesday. So it ends up evening out. So I expect that's probably what's going to happen here. But for week 1, these are essentially my like priority tasks that I have here. This one would be a priority task, paying off my US card, but the problem is I am waiting for money to clear because it's on hold because it's US funds, it's whatever. But yeah, that's why that one's there. But other than that, these aren't too long of tasks, but they are things that I'm going to be going to when I actually do my weekly planning. I guess I'll show you what that looks like really quickly. I'm trying not to make this video 6 million years long because I know it's going to be so long, but I'll show you this more in depth another time because I'm going to be doing a video shortly, later this month actually, where I show you my weekly planning routine. But for now, just a really quick look. So I'm going to change this to March here, and then I can change the week. So say it's week 1, those are the only tasks that show up, and then I can just drag them to this week. So yeah, that's just a really quick look at what that looks like. And that is pretty much everything as far as the goals page. So what I do now and how I look at these all the time is I'm going to change this link here and this link to the proper ones. So now we have March goals. I can't remember if this is in the same order, but whatever. And March reflection. Perfect. And now I'm just gonna hop into the reflection page for a second. So I have updated all of this. So you can see we have a lot of things done. I have crossed out workouts because you might notice I didn't have anything that was focused on my feel happy and healthy in my body goal, but that's because I just have not been successful with that. I've really been struggling with it. So I was like, okay, maybe I need to take a step back and I need to focus on the nutrition part of things first. It's really hard for me when the weather's bad because I don't want to go out for a walk. I have a walking pad and I will use it, but sometimes I just don't feel like it. I find it harder to get myself motivated to do that. Like during the summer, I can go in the pool, and during the spring, like I'm very much looking forward to next week. It's actually supposed to be warm, so I'm going to take my bike out again, which is so exciting because I love riding my bike. But that's why I have workouts crossed off. I might come back to it, but I just kind of wanted to take a step back from it for now and like give myself some grace. Short form content I'm going to be planning in week 1, so I will get to that eventually. I can check these off though, the goal tasks and weekly breakdown of goals. I'm almost done with the calendar setup. We're going to do that in a moment. And then brain draining tasks. I don't feel like I really need to do that right now. I feel like I mostly have done it. That's essentially just kind of like anything that's on my mind, I will just like brain dump it, but really it's something that I should probably do before I even do the goal planning or the to-dos planning. So I think I'm good on that front right now. I crossed off the digital declutter because this is like in an ideal world where at the end of the month, I won't have a ton of things to do. I won't have a ton of like basically digital clutter to declutter, but that's just not where we're at right now. So I crossed that off. Same thing with the space. And then going through my to plan and no deadline tasks, that is back in my getting things done thing. So I'm talking about like these, and then there's also quite a few here. I have a lot of workouts in there. I don't know why. I kind of need to go through that, I guess. But yeah, I have so many other things that I want to focus on right now in terms of things that I don't want to say procrastinated on, but things that I didn't get done in the timeline that I had wanted to because I wasn't really feeling all that great in February. So I'd like to focus on those, and then next month I will get to these, or later in the month if I'm feeling good. It just kind of depends, but I felt like right now I should just focus on what I have like right in front of me. So I'm going to set up my physical calendar, but I wanted to show you this. So I started doing this in the reflection, and I'm actually going to probably break it down into an hourly schedule here. So I'll kind of have an idea of what's going on each hour, but I have morning, workday, evening, and weekends, and it's just kind of what an ideal day, an ideal scenario will look like in all of these times. I felt like it was important to think about, like in the past, I've done just a manifestation for the month, which was essentially like, this month is going to be great. I'm going to effortlessly achieve my goals, all of those things. But I think it's more helpful for me personally to actually have like, what does a day in the life in March look like ideally? What do I want it to look like? And this probably will change, like seeing if these things don't work for me, but this is just kind of an outline of what I would like to do. And I feel really good about that, but it definitely does have goal things, you know, that are connected to it as well. So I'm just going to finish up with capturing all this stuff in this calendar. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a closer look, but I added some highlighting as well. But you can see I have all of my goals, all of my to-dos, my healthy habits, and then the acts of kindness. I can't see if it's showing you, yes. And then just my focus. Yay! The lighting's gonna be bad because it's nighttime. It is what it is, okay? It is nighttime. But oh my goodness, that is all for the reset. Holy crap, I've been doing a lot. This has been a jam-packed, I think I started this 2 days ago. So I think my #1 thing that I would like to do in the future is start this sooner. Usually I do, it was just this month, there was a ton happening at the end of the month and it just got away from me. So I know I'm doing a lot, like literally 2 videos worth of things, but it's all things that make me feel good and help like keep me on track. They are systems that I know work for me. It might not work for you, but it's been working for me so far. And if it's not, then I will adjust it in the future. Sorry, I hit the tripod with my foot, but for now it is working and I am really enjoying it. So I'm going to continue with doing it, but I hope you enjoyed what just happened? I don't even know what just happened. I hope you enjoyed following along with me for this. I'm glad that I finished filming it because last month I could not finish it. I was just like kind of figuring out how I wanted to do it and it was too overwhelming. But now I feel like I really have it under control. I know what I'm doing and it feels really good. So I will do these more in the future if you would like, probably not in 2 videos. This one was more intense because I wanted to kind of go over everything for you guys, but I thought that was kind of fun. So yeah, I hope you liked it. Thank you so much for resetting with me. Even if you don't have any goals for the next month, like that's totally fine. Honestly, it's just like I have been at a spot very recently where I wasn't able to set any goals and it just seemed like my goal was to get out of bed, and that is a fine goal to have. If your goal is to wake up, that is a fine goal to have, okay? Like don't put too much pressure on yourself. Truly, like, your life is about enjoying it. It's not just going to magically happen. You're not just going to magically feel better. You have to put in work. And I'm not, okay, that sounds bad. I'm not talking about like mental health. You need to like put in the work to feel better, but I'm not going to get into it. You know, that's not what I mean. I mean, like, be kind and gentle with yourself, okay? No matter where you're at, and do whatever you can, even if it is a little bit. That is what I mean, okay? As someone who has struggled deeply with mental health, believe me, I know you can't just snap your fingers. It would be lovely if you could. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in another new video very soon. Bye!